Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog. So, before we delve into today's video review, there's an affiliate link on the bottom of the screen, tenkar's-tavern.games/DCC. It'll take you to Humble Bundle where there's currently a DCC MCC RPG bundle. It's an amazing value, but even for $1, if you don't have the DCC RPG rules, you can snag them in PDF plus 2 adventures plus a coupon for $1. This is how you can help this channel. This is how you can support this channel. We don't do paid advertising. We don't do sponsorships. And I know you got the YouTube ads. I can't help you with that. So, I know a few of my viewers have mentioned that Vince Florio did a review of Those Pesky Orcz, and they wanted to know when my review was going to come out. And I was like, well, I got to do it justice. It's got to be done in 2 parts. And why is that? Because you're effectively dealing with 2 different products. You're dealing with the core game, Those Pesky Orcz. And the other half of this is No Man's Land, or I believe that's what it's called, the Dave Johnson written adventure, which, by the way, I happen to love that piece of art right there. That's really spot on. So, now, truth in advertising. The individual whose main name is on this product is currently involved in a lawsuit with me. So, say, I don't want people saying, "Oh, well, Tenkar, he's prejudiced against," or he's going to say nice things, or to say bad things for whatever reason. I'm letting you know, nothing's hidden. All right, see the hands, nothing up my sleeves. I'm not even wearing sleeves, short sleeve shirt. So, what is Those Pesky Orcz? It is an OSR game heavily influenced by the AD&D 1E rule set. And I will say that if you know AD&D 1E, something that, it's first edition compatible. Yes, it is. It's going to feel very familiar, which is a good thing, right? But there are a number of issues I have this with, and surprisingly enough, the issues are with the editing and layout for the most part, because these are things that should have been caught in the editing and layout process. Like under lifespan on page 7. Adulthood by age 10 lives to approximately 40 years if lucky. I would have edited that sentence to read differently, but. And then it goes, orcs are accomplished tunnelers and miners. They can detect new or unusual construction underground 40% of the time and spot sloping passages 30% of the time. That should be its own little subsection. It shouldn't be under lifespan. It has nothing to do. And I don't blame the author for that. I would put that firmly on the support team. The editing team should have called that. You can't edit your own work. You fill in things. You know what it should sound like. The editing team has to come in, make your stuff read well. Go, hey, you forgot something. You missed something. Something else is missing. And if you are somebody at home that finds this, please let me know. Character creation does not include how much money you start with, which I was surprised to find that. Now, before you roll your ability scores, and by the way, the ability scores are exactly as you know from 1E, including, and this could be a little iffy, including the stat bonuses follow AD&D 1E to a T. Not using any Creative Commons, not using the SRD, not using the OGL. And you don't have to, right? We've seen Kevin Crawford. His works are certainly OSR. There's no SRD or OGL that he's relying on from WotC. But when it comes to things like mathematical formulas, those are things that fall into that. It's not even usually a gray area. That falls into the area of got to change things up, which is often why uh, retro clones do change up these charts. They change up the experience charts and stuff like that. So before you even roll your ability scores, though, you roll on traits and backgrounds. Um, Here, I'm going to show you. You're going to. Oh, the green screen doesn't like it, but here you can see how cluttered these pages are. These pages should probably have been 2 pages per chart. These aren't even a bad idea. Don't get me wrong. These makes your character unique. Some of the stuff is a little overpowered. As a DM, you might be like, but hey, not a bad idea. And you roll this before you roll your stats. So you kind of have an idea of what your character's hook is before you even roll your statistics, which are 3d6, arrange as you see fit. Now, and I mentioned this on a first video unboxing, on page 11, entry 12, you're not going to be able to see it, but there's a piss profit. And that's the reason why I'm leaving up the Amazon page right here. The Amazon page says this is for ages 12 to 18. And I would not give something that says piss profit to my 13-year-old niece. It's not appropriate for that. But again, that is something that should have been caught by the editing team. And the editing team, here, I'll throw them under the bus. Mick McArt and Jeff Leeson. And you had two editors. Now, I don't know if one worked on one part of this book and one worked on the Dave Johnson part of this book. I don't know how that worked out. However, this shit is cluttered. So that's layout. And who did layout? Layout by Mick McArt. So, by the way, when you're doing layout, it's almost like an additional editing pass. So if this layout makes my layout in the Swords and Wizard Continual Light rulebook look far more than the serviceable that people were saying it was in reviews. This is just not a good layout, and that's a shame. So there is, I guess I want to call it a THACO table. It's a 2-hit. Your die roll to score a hit table. 2-hit AC 10. Which is fine. It's got the combat matrix. Works. Your class is a marauder, which is basically your fighters, but every couple of levels they get additional +1 hit and +1 damage. Conjurers, which are your magic users. Priest, which is your cleric. And Blackguard, which is, I don't know, your thief, assassin. Assassin's really a subclass of thief anyway. But it gets assassin abilities. Okay. So now attributes are on page 16. The attribute charts, again, they replicate the charts of AD&D 1A. The equipment chart is 1 page. And like I said, you don't know what your starting gold is, or what your starting silver is, or whatever your starting money is. Right? You don't know. I did not see it, could not find it, be it as it may. And again, the equipment chart, these pages include weapon damage, like shoved in after the weapon's name. Again, it's a layout issue. Again, you're not going to really see it, but it's a layout issue. So that is painful. Now, we move on from there to Orc Magic. And you know what? Some of these spells are actually pretty imaginative. Some of these spells are stuff that you might look at and say, hey, I'd like to grab that and put that into my own campaign. Some of them are just repeats of stuff you've already seen before. But, again, not too shabby. Now, create random magic item, I'm a little confused by. That's on page 26. When this spell is cast, depending on the item being enchanted, so it's not really random, right? It doesn't. You have an item in front of you. Will determine its type. Whatever item is being used has to be of exceptional quality. Also, having a sacrifice. Period. Some part of the conjurer casting the spell, a finger, a toe, or even an eyeball, or so. Again, this is the editor's fault. This is where the editor stuff like this should never be in a book that you're paying $20 for. And I'm not sure whether I should be mad at McArt or Jeff, but they dropped the ball. They seriously dropped the ball. So your first, and then there's I don't know 2 pages of magic items. If you played AD&D, you it's basically the magic items charged from, and not the full charge, but it's basically similar to those charts. But again, the layout is not conductive to easy reading, and I don't know why. There's an encounter chart, uses the D30, which is fine. I don't think they explain how to make a D30, but we're all gamers. We know how to do that. Not all that big a deal. But see, here's the issue. So I went through the first part of this, and then I started on the second part, which is Module OZ1 No Man's Land. And the quality went down greatly. So how would I rate the first half of Those Pesky Orcz? The actual Those Pesky Orcz part, which is really why you're going to be buying this game. Now, if you're only buying it for Those Pesky Orcz, it's not even 40 pages, and it's $20. Towards the Wizard Continual Light on Amazon is, I don't know, 16 pages, it's $7. But, you know, and those pages actually include an OGL because, it's covering my hiney. I would say this: the review, the rating of this depends on how you're going to use this. Okay, if you're using this as a standalone game, for diversion with your gaming group, 3 out of 5. It's worth a night or two, maybe. I'm not judging it from this adventure in the back. I'm just judging it for what's up in front. But then, is that worth $20? I don't know. Maybe if they give a PDF version out. I know they gave a PDF to Vince. PDF at $7 might be interesting. But then they could, if it was better laid out, and if the editing was fixed, it could be a solid 3.5. Better than average. And it actually almost pains me to say that. But I'm an AD&D 1E geek, and this is literally AD&D 1E. It doesn't, and it doesn't, again, doesn't hide that fact. First edition compatible, right? It's not hiding the fact that this is essentially 1E, but there's a nice little twist. Now, are those twists worth $20? Probably not. But that's why I took the hit, so you don't have to. But it does come with an adventure. And it's a fairly large adventure full of what appears to be largely computer-generated artwork. And possibly AI-generated text. And I've been struggling to read through it. The first half had its issues, don't get me wrong, but they were editing issues. The second half has writing issues. So, for the first half, 2.5, rounded up to 3. With proper layout, editing done. If it was a standalone game for $10, you could even get it to a 4. But as is, some people are going to look at it and they're going to look at the layout, and they're going to look at the missing stuff and go, it's no better than a 2. I think it's a 2.5, maybe a 3, if you're an AD&D geek like I am. It certainly has its uses. I just don't think a lot of people are going to find those uses. I will. It's already getting dog-eared, right? You can see that. Look at that, man. You can see how much reading I've been doing, putting effort into it. But, yeah. So, you can take that to the bank. I will actually include a link to the Amazon storefront. It will be an affiliate link if you wish to grab a copy. There's worse things to grab. Again, if it had proper layout and decent editing, wouldn't be bad. But yeah, maybe you can edit in the Starting Gold, or do we just take that? Maybe we just take that from AD&D. So much other stuff here, but hey, I digress. Folks, there'll be another video up in a day or two. Well, there'll be a video up tomorrow. Whether that will be the second part of this, I don't know. It's first part was actually a pleasant read. The second part has not been so far. All right, folks. Be safe. Be well. God bless. Roll those dice. Roll them well. Back again tomorrow. Laters.